pets like to travel? Mine do. With me today, Animal Control Officer Charlie Lewis. We're going to talk a little bit about how to prepare your pet for travel or how to prepare your pet when you're traveling to a new place. Charlie, welcome to the show.
Thank you. It's an exciting topic.
It is, and I think it's one that's needed. There is a Facebook group out there called Cape Cod Missing Pets. And a lot of what we're seeing right now are pets that have come here on vacation and gotten lost.
Yes, it's always very, very traumatic for the individual that owns the animal, but there are things they can do to help themselves along the way.
So how do you prepare a family to travel with their pet?
Well, first thing is identification. You want to have your home address, and you want to have a cell phone number that is very accurate, and you also want to take and have an address tag made up special of where you're going. If you're going to rent for a week or two, get that ID tag made up, because if the dog gets away, we can at least find you.
That's an interesting point. I hadn't realized to actually put a little tag on them that says where you're staying. So one of those little cottages, or whatever town you might be moving to, you have that tag right on there for them.
That's correct.
Okay.
I mean, I had a classic example. The individual has 2 golden retrievers that got away. They were in the middle of one of the busiest roads out by the Cape Cod Airport area there, and the phone number on the tag was old. They had just changed it. And when I tried to explain to the gentleman, if you took that tag off, then we would have come right directly to you, versus the person that found the dog spending an hour being late for work and everything else, trying to contact you because they didn't want to involve animal control.
Right. So you get involved when, Good Samaritans pick up the animals and then can't find the owners, or they've posted on a Facebook page. They can't really keep the animal in their homes. So when you get involved, what happens to a missing pet when you pick them up?
Well, the first thing we do is check for identification on a collar, and the second thing is to scan it for a microchip.
Okay.
If it's got a microchip, we can possibly trace the owner as well, so long as it is registered properly. If someone moves, changes phone numbers, etc., they do have to notify the chip company and update their profile.
Okay, so that's really important, is to make sure that the chip profile is up to date.
Correct.
A lot of people, get new phone numbers, or they might have moved, and if that information is not right, it's very difficult to get a hold of.
And a lot of times people give the dog away, or they've taken, there's a separation in family, and one person may, take the dog. They lived in California, now they've returned home here to Cape Cod, and now we have no information on the dog. Right. The chip is useless to us at that point.
Right. What are some of the other tips for traveling with dogs? I know there was an unfortunate accident with dogs. They shouldn't be riding free in their cars, should they?
No, I always suggest getting the belt system. They sell them, they're fairly cheap. They do have to be fitted for each dog, but it's best that way, especially if you stop at a roadside rest area. It is the Massachusetts law that they have to be on a leash when they get out of the car in those areas. Many cities and towns, of course, have a separate leash law, but it is on any state highway, it's mandatory that the dog be leashed. So, and if you have a small enough dog, a crate is a great thing. It makes them relax. They don't get car sick. If they do, it's contained and it's very easy for one to clean up.
Right. And those leashes are really good, too, because a lot of times when you stop at a rest stop, or you stop, to look at the beach, that dog just smells stuff and he wants to bolt. So if he's strapped into the car, he's not going to get out easily.
No, that's correct. And of course, the other thing is that if you do have an accident, or even if you have to slam the brakes on, the dog is going to stay on the seat, and it's not going to go forward and roll. And, very similar to a human. When you have a car accident and it rolls, that animal does the same thing as us. You're going to be all bruised on the inside. And we can't see those type of injuries. So the only way you can tell is through, x-rays and things like that. It may be 3 or 4 days later before a dog has any kind of a sign or a symptom that there's something wrong.
Right. So. And what else do you suggest for people who come and they've rented the cottage for the week? What can they do with their dog that's safe here in Barnstable?
Well, number one is you can walk it any way you want on a leash, with the exception of town beaches. and the pond areas, etc.
Right.
Things like that. But we have some great conservation trails that are very, very nice to walk. You know, they maintain those things. And, you know, just walking on Main Street, but I do suggest that you not let your dog sniff other dogs, and also not to have, you know, a child runs up to the dog, don't let them pet your dog.
Right.
You know, unless you have total control of your dog. You make your dog sick, and then introduce a child to the dog. That's one thing, because we don't want anybody to get bitten either while they're here.
Right, and it's all new to the dog. This is a different area. The smells are different. Sometimes even the pavement may be different underneath their feet, so they're a little disorientated.
Well, plus the temperature has a lot to do with it.
Right.
That asphalt heats up to probably 30, 40 degrees warmer than what the air temperature is.
Right, so carry a
So-
water bottle for your dog.
That's number one. I was going to say, you need to have a water bottle for yourself
Right.
and your pet. You know, even if you have a cat and it likes to stay in the back window of the car, you really should have water available for the animals.
Excellent.
So-
Any other tips before we end today, Charlie?
Well, I just one other thing. If someone is here for any length of time visiting, they come for the summer. We sell dog licenses for virtually no money.
Right.
And I do suggest to people that when they travel, of course, they should always have their rabies certificate with them. And it costs $10 for an unaltered dog for a dog license in the town of Barnstable. If you're here for 2 months, it's not a bad idea to pick up that tag. Even though it's not mandatory because you've got a tag from another town, it will help us find you even quicker because we carry that information with us in the vehicle.
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
So
And-
you can license them here if you're here as a summer resident.
Yep. And even at 2 o'clock in the morning, someone will call up the police station, they'll have the tag number, and they don't have a database available to them, but I do at home, and the PD will call me, and I'll look up the information, and then they'll call the owner. So we get back a few dogs at night like that. It really helps having that tag on the dog.
Excellent. Great idea, Charlie.
Yep.
Thanks for coming in today.
Okay, certainly. Enjoy the summer.